Have you ever watched someone lie to your face while the whole family nods along? I was sitting across from my mother-in-law at Sunday dinner. Linda was smiling, cutting her roast, asking if I wanted more potatoes. 3 hours earlier, I had opened my storage closet. My wedding dress was gone. Not just any dress. The one my mom spent 11 months hand-beating while she was in chemo. The last thing she ever finished before she died. And Linda had donated it. She called it an accident, a mix-up. She even offered to write me a check for $200 to replace it. $200. For my mother's last gift to me. But I wasn't just angry. I was calm, because I had proof. Time-stamped, signed. A donation receipt that showed exactly when Linda scheduled the drop-off. 3 days before she claimed it was an accident. And that receipt? It was about to unravel something way bigger than a missing dress. It's 9 at night here. Where are you watching from? Drop your time zone below and hit like if you've ever dealt with in-law drama that made you want to scream. Let me back up. I met Mark 6 years ago. He was kind, funny, loved hiking and bad puns. I fell hard. Then I met his parents. Linda and Robert were the kind of people who smiled with their mouths, but not their eyes. The first dinner, Linda asked what I did for work. I'm a legal secretary. She nodded. Oh, so you're not a lawyer. Just a secretary. Just a secretary. That became her favorite line. At birthdays, holidays, family photos. She'd introduce me to her friends and somehow always managed to mention that I wasn't quite professional enough. Mark would shrug it off. That's just how she is. She doesn't mean anything by it. But she did. The dress was my line in the sand. My mom died when I was 19. Cancer. She spent her last year fighting it, and in between treatments, she beaded my wedding dress by hand. Ivory silk, thousands of tiny pearls, 11 months of work. She finished it 2 weeks before she passed. When Mark proposed, I cried for an hour because I knew I'd finally get to wear it. Linda hated it, called it vintage in that tone that really meant old and ugly. She kept suggesting I'd look better in something modern, something new. I smiled and said no thanks. But I worked in a law firm. 5 years of watching attorneys build cases taught me one thing: document everything. I started keeping a folder, emails, texts, screenshots of the family group chat. Just in case. I should have known the dress wouldn't be safe. Nothing I loved ever was around Linda. I came home on a Thursday afternoon. The apartment felt different. Too clean. I walked to the storage closet in our hallway. We kept seasonal stuff there. Coats, boxes, my wedding dress in its garment bag on the top shelf. The shelf was empty. I checked every closet, every room. I called Mark. Did you move my dress? What? No, why? It's gone. He sounded confused, distracted. Maybe ask my mom. She stopped by earlier to drop off some dishes. My stomach dropped. I drove to Linda and Robert's house. Linda opened the door with a smile. Sweetheart, what a nice surprise. Where's my dress? Her smile didn't move. What dress? My wedding dress. It was in our closet. You were at our place today. Oh, she waved her hand. That ratty old thing? I donated it. The church is having a charity gala this weekend. They needed high-quality items. I couldn't breathe. That was my mother's dress. Linda blinked. Well, you weren't wearing it. It was just taking up space. I'll write you a check. How much? 200? It's not about money, Linda. That dress was... Sweetie, maybe if you weren't so attached to the past, you'd focus on the future. Like giving us grandchildren. I left. That night, Mark came home and sighed. Mom called. She's really upset. She said she was just trying to help. Help? She stole my dress. She didn't steal it. She made a mistake. Just let it go. It's not worth tearing the family apart over a dress. But it wasn't just a dress. And Linda knew that. I called the church the next morning. The coordinator was sweet but firm. I'm so sorry. The gala was last Saturday. Everything's already been sold or distributed. Can you tell me who bought it? We don't release buyer information. Donor privacy policy. Dead end. The family group chat lit up that afternoon. Linda had posted a long message about how she was heartbroken, that I didn't appreciate her efforts to declutter and help us. How she only wanted the best for us. Mark's sister replied with a heart emoji. His brother, it's just stuff, guys. Let's not fight. Even Mark's sister-in-law texted me privately. I get it, but just apologize. It's not worth it. Linda holds grudges forever. Mark started sleeping on the couch. I sat alone in our bedroom, staring at a photo on my phone. My mom, in the dress on her wedding day. Smiling. Healthy. Alive. Maybe I was being unreasonable. Maybe it really was an accident. Maybe I should just let it go. Then I remembered the donation receipt Linda had left on our counter, like she wanted me to see it. I opened the church charity portal and entered the receipt number, and I saw the timestamp. She had scheduled the drop-off 3 days in advance. The portal loaded. Donation number 4739. Item description: vintage 1995 ivory beaded gown. Heirloom quality. Scheduled drop-off 3 days before Linda claimed it was a mistake. And in the donor notes section, Linda had written a comment. High-value item. Please feature prominently in auction. I read it twice. She didn't grab the wrong bag. She didn't mix up boxes in a rush. She targeted my dress. She described it. She scheduled it. She asked them to highlight it. This was deliberate. I took a screenshot. Then another. I saved the full donor profile page. Every note, every date. Then I scrolled down, and that's when I saw something else. Linda's donation history went back 2 years. Pages of entries. But the amounts caught my eye. $2,000 here, $4,000 there. Month after month. I added it up in my head. $47,000. Linda and Robert weren't wealthy. Robert was retired. Linda did bookkeeping part-time. Where were they getting that kind of money to donate? I minimized the window. My hands were shaking. Not from anger. From clarity. The dress wasn't the real story. It never was. I just didn't know what I was looking at yet. I printed everything. I put it in a folder. Then I went back to Linda's house. She opened the door. Same smile. I held up the printout. You scheduled the donation 3 days early. You wrote a note asking them to feature it. This wasn't an accident. Her face didn't change. That portal system is ancient. It makes errors all the time. You're reading too much into a computer glitch. Linda, your username is on the entry. She tilted her head. Sweetheart, I think you need to take a step back. You're sounding a little paranoid. I left before I said something I'd regret. 2 hours later, Robert called Mark. I could hear him through the phone, loud, angry. Your wife came to our house and accused your mother of lying. This has gone too far. Linda is talking to our attorney about a harassment claim. If this continues, she's not welcome at family events. You need to get her under control. Mark hung up. He looked at me. Please just stop. You're tearing my family apart. She donated my mother's dress on purpose, Mark. You don't know that. You're seeing conspiracies in a scheduling error. Let it go, please, for me. The family group chat erupted again. Linda posted a tearful message about being attacked in her own home. Messages poured in. Support for Linda, silence toward me. I had a choice. Let them win and save my marriage, or keep digging and lose everything. I chose the truth. I went back to the donation portal. I pulled Linda's full donor history. 18 months of records, $47,000. All to the same church, all marked as estate gift in the payment notes. Estate gift. I opened our shared files. Mark and I had been gathering documents for a mortgage pre-approval. Tax returns, bank statements, family financial letters. That's when I found the trust paperwork. Mark's grandmother had passed away 15 years ago. She left a trust. $520,000, split equally among her 4 grandchildren. Mark, his sister Jenna, his brothers Kyle and Sam. The trust was managed by Linda and Robert as co-trustees. Distributions happened at age 30 or upon marriage. Mark had gotten his share when we got married 3 years ago, $130,000. We used it for our down payment. But Jenna, Kyle, and Sam were all still under 30, unmarried. They hadn't received anything yet. I looked at the current trust balance. It should have been $390,000. 3 kids, $130,000 each. The balance was $360,000. $30,000 was missing. And that was just what I could see on one statement. I pulled older statements from Mark's file cabinet. The original balance had been $520,000. Now it was $360,000. $160,000. Gone. I cross-referenced the trust statements with Linda's donation log. $90,000 had gone to the church under Linda and Robert's name. Tax deductible. Credited to the Linda and Robert Family Foundation. They didn't have a foundation. It was just a name they used for the donor wall. The other $70,000? Trustee fees, administrative expenses, reimbursements for trust management services. None of it had been approved by the beneficiaries. None of it was documented in official trust meeting minutes, because there were no meetings. Linda and Robert had been quietly siphoning the money for 3 years, spending it, donating it in their name, building a reputation as the generous pillars of their church, all while Mark's siblings waited for their inheritance. And then I remembered. 2 months ago, I'd asked Linda for a family financial reference letter. Our mortgage broker wanted proof of family stability for a loan upgrade. Linda had stalled, changed the subject. Then she got weird, cold. I'd asked about the family finances, and she panicked. She needed me discredited, isolated, made into the villain, so no one would listen when I started asking questions about money. The dress was never about sentiment. It was about control. She picked the one thing I couldn't let go, the one fight I'd take publicly. And when I fought back, she'd paint me as unstable, cruel, vindictive. Now I understood exactly what I was dealing with, and exactly what I had to do. I didn't call Linda. I didn't post in the group chat. I didn't yell. I called Jenna. Hey, can we grab coffee? Just you, me, Kyle, and Sam. I need to show you guys something about your grandmother's trust. She hesitated. Is this about the dress thing? Because I really don't want to. It's not about the dress. I promise. It's about money. Your money. Silence. Okay, tomorrow? We met at a cafe downtown, all 3 of them across from me. Jenna looked nervous. Kyle looked annoyed. Sam just looked confused. I slid the folder across the table. I'm not here to talk about the dress. I'm here to show you your trust balance. Just read it. Then decide what you want to do. Jenna opened the folder first. I watched her face change. Confusion, then shock. This says the trust has $360 in it. It should have $390. I'm 30 next year. Where's the other $30,000? Kyle leaned over. His jaw tightened. What the hell is this? I pulled out the donation history, the reimbursement invoices, the timeline. Your parents have taken $160,000 from the trust over 3 years. 90 in donations, 70 in fees they never got approved. It's all documented. Sam stared at the pages. Mom and Dad did this? I nodded. Jenna's hands were shaking. What do we do? I pulled out a business card. This is a trust attorney. He specializes in this. I already sent him the documents. He'll call you if you want him to. I stood up. It's your choice, but you deserve to know. They called the attorney that night. Within 48 hours, he filed for an emergency trust audit and temporary suspension of Linda and Robert as trustees. 10 days later, we were all summoned to a meeting. Not a courtroom. A conference room at the attorney's office. Long table. Neutral mediator. Everyone sitting across from each other like a deposition. Linda and Robert on one side. The 4 siblings and their spouses on the other. Linda walked in with her chin up, confident. She looked at me like I was dirt. The attorney started. We're here to review the trust administration and address concerns raised by the beneficiaries. Linda interrupted. This is a misunderstanding. We've managed this trust faithfully for 15 years. We've sacrificed our time and energy. The attorney clicked his laptop. The projector turned on. First slide. Trust balance history, $520,000 in 2008. $360,000 today. Robert cleared his throat. Administrative costs. Investments fluctuate. Second slide. Donation logs. $90,000 to the church. Every entry marked Linda and Robert Family Foundation. Payment source, estate account. Jenna's voice was quiet, shaking. You donated our money. And put your name on it. Linda's face flushed. That money was for charity. It's tax deductible. It benefits everyone. Third slide. Reimbursement invoices. $70,000 in trustee fees. No beneficiary votes. No documented approvals. Just Linda's signature. Kyle stood up. You stole from us. Robert tried to speak. The attorney raised his hand. The trust document requires beneficiary approval for any fees exceeding $500 annually. None of these reimbursements were voted on. Additionally, donations from the trust require unanimous beneficiary consent. There is no record of consent. He turned to the mediator. The beneficiaries are entitled to vote on trustee removal. Per the trust terms, a majority vote is binding. The mediator looked at Jenna, Kyle, Sam, and Mark. All in favor of removing Linda and Robert as co-trustees? 4 hands went up. Jenna, Kyle, Sam, and Mark. Linda stared at her son. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. The mediator made a note. Motion passes. Linda and Robert, you are removed as trustees effective immediately. An independent trustee will be appointed by the court. You will also be required to repay the missing funds on a schedule determined by the court. Linda's voice cracked. Mark, you can't. Mark looked at the table. You lied to all of us, Mom. That was it. No yelling, no drama. Just the truth. And 4 hands in the air. The court ordered Linda and Robert to repay $160,000 in installments over 5 years. They refinanced their house to make the first payment. The church quietly removed their name from the donor wall. Linda and Robert stopped attending services a month later. An independent trustee took over. Within 6 months, the remaining funds were distributed correctly. Jenna got her share. She used it to pay for grad school. Kyle bought a house. Sam started his own business. They got what their grandmother wanted them to have. Linda tried to reach out to Mark once. A long email about how we'd destroyed the family. How I had poisoned him against her. He read it, then he blocked her number. We started therapy together, couples counseling. It wasn't easy. Mark had spent 30 years being taught that questioning his parents meant betrayal. Unlearning that took time, but he showed up every week. And slowly he started to see it. The control, the manipulation, the way Linda had used guilt and family loyalty as weapons. I never got the dress back. The church couldn't trace the buyer. But 3 months after the trust meeting, Jenna showed up at our door with a box. Inside was a dress. Ivory silk, hand-beaded. She'd hired a seamstress and given her photos of the original. It wasn't the same. It didn't have my mom's hands on it. But it was beautiful, and it was made with love. You deserved something beautiful, Jenna said. And I'm sorry it took me so long to see what she was doing to you. We set boundaries after that, firm ones. We see Linda and Robert twice a year, holidays only, supervised. They don't get to be alone with us. And when we have kids, those boundaries will stay. Because protecting the peace isn't the same as keeping the peace. And silence doesn't protect victims. It protects abusers. The truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be documented. The dress was never just about fabric. It was proof that some things and some people are worth fighting for. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and speaking the truth? What did you do? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this reminded you to save your receipts, hit that subscribe button. New stories every week. Because boundaries aren't revenge. They're self-respect. One last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization based on real experiences. Nothing here is legal or financial advice. Always consult a licensed professional for your specific situation. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.